Is 1,000 euros enough to live in Latvia in 2024? Let's find out. In this video, I'll be talking about such areas as accommodation, food, entertainment, of course public transport, internet, and all the expenses you can think of. At the end of this video, I will share the average amount of money you will spend living in Riga alone. So let's start, of course, with accommodation. The cheapest accommodation you can find in Riga is about 200 euros. It can be a room or a very cheap studio far from the center. But I would say that 300 euros, 400 euros, it's a very good budget. If you live alone, of course, maybe a studio will be okay. However, for this same money, you can already find one-bedroom apartment, but again, farther from the center. 500 euros, 600 euros, your one-bedroom apartment will be closer to the center. However, if you're a student, you can find a room for 200 euros. And if you live at the university dormitory, prices are usually even cheaper, especially if you share it with someone. I talk about utility bills. That's actually a very painful topic. So here for winter month, you will pay between 150 and 300 euros. Again, if your apartment is like very big, be ready to pay even more than 300 euros. My acquaintances that live in Riga, they rent an apartment for 300 euros and their utility bill is also 300 euros for the winter month. During the summer, it's better. It will be up to 100, again, depending on your apartment size, again, your preferences, how much you stay at home and how much electricity you are using. If you're a student, most probably you will not pay any utility bills if you live in the dormitory. If you rent an apartment, of course, you would want to have Wi-Fi. You will pay around 20 euros. If you want Wi-Fi plus TV, I think it would be like 20-25 euros. But again, if you live in the dorms, most probably there will be Wi-Fi, so you will not pay for Wi-Fi when living in the dormitory. And now the most interesting part, at least for me, is grocery shopping. Here I divided grocery shopping for two areas, like food that you eat daily and some household chemicals that you usually buy maybe once a month. I use the website of the Latvian supermarket that is called Rimi. I should say that it's not the cheapest supermarket you can find, and if you really want to save money, I really recommend you to go to Lidl because that's my favorite grocery store. You can find also good products there that are also made in Latvia or in neighboring countries like Lithuania and maybe also Poland. You can find a group on Facebook where people share their reviews or like feedback after using certain products bought in Lidl, so you can find that and make sure that you're buying good stuff. However, let's get back to Rimi. Since it's not the most expensive supermarket either, I think that we can take it as an average price. Moreover, Rimi has their own brand for different products, and again, if you want to save money, you can buy those, and their quality is also quite good. So you can see on the screen what products I put in my cart. Again, I try to put the products that I usually bought when I was in Latvia. However, depending on your preferences, whether you're a fancier eater or not, your price can change. And here I would say that for one person for 1 week, the price for food shopping would be like something between 50-70 euros. My cart ended up to be 60 euros, and I think that this amount of food can be quite enough for 1 week for one person. Let's get to the household chemicals. Again, I put the products that, well, I think you might use because my preferences here can change. Well, I buy a certain toothpaste and a certain shampoo. Here I just chose the products that are like some basic products that people usually buy in those sections. So here you can see shampoo, shower gel, washing powder, etc. So everything you might need during a month or maybe longer. And I ended up having 55 euros per this purchase. Again, I think a person would buy these products for 1 month. But let's get to some entertainment. If we're talking about some, cheapest cafes in Riga, you can pay around 10 euros per lunch. That would be one meal and probably one beverage. If you go to a fancier cafe, you would pay the same amount of money, but for one coffee and maybe one pastry or dessert. However, if you go to a fancier restaurant, your meal would cost you around 20, 30, or I think there is no limit actually, 50 euros per person, depending on what alcohol you're going to drink, because the minimum price for a bottle of beer is 4 euros, and you can imagine how much cocktails all cost. I will not be talking about that because, well, I'm not much of a drinker here, and I'm not an expert in these prices as well. When I was thinking about the entertainment, I decided to add cinema tickets because, well, you can go to different concerts, etc., but it really depends on your preferences, and cinema is something much more universal. In addition, almost all the movies shown in Latvia, they are shown in the original language, in English, for example, or I don't know if there are any other movies like French, etc., with Latvian and Russian subtitles. So if you're a foreigner moving to Latvia, it's also convenient for you to come to any cinema basically. One ticket in Riga would be between 8 to 10 euros. Again, there are special discounts, special offers in different cinemas, so it can be less expensive, maybe more expensive if you choose some VIP tickets. Again, really depends on your preferences. And again, if we're still talking about concerts, I think the most basic ticket would be around 30 euros. And again, with no limitations, if you go, I don't know, to a theater, it can be like 100 euros per one ticket. So something like that. Public transport. One ride for a bus, a tram, trolley bus, well, in Riga, you buy a universal ticket for public transportation. It would be €1.15. The more rides you buy, the less money you of course pay. And the last thing here is taxi. One taxi ride can be between 5 to 10 euros, again depending on the distance and on kind of taxi you are using. To calculate an average amount of money spent living in Riga for one person who is renting an apartment, I ended up having 940 euros. So the answer to my first question at the beginning of this video is yes, 1000 euros is more than enough when living in Latvia. With this amount of money, you do not really limit yourself. You can go to cafes, you can go maybe, I don't know, to a fancier restaurant once in a month, you can go to cinema, you can buy food you like. But again, if you are a fancier eater and you want to live in a fancier apartment, your budget will be bigger. However, what about my fellow students? Because I know that many students watch my videos. So here, of course, your final amount of money will be much less because you will not pay for utility bills, which is 200 euros, the average price. You will not also pay for internet, and most probably you will not go to restaurants if you want to save money. So I would say that for a student, it would be 600-700 euros per one student living in the dorms or renting a small room in Riga. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them in the comment section. And if you're moving to Latvia, I really recommend you to check the playlist with all my videos that I filmed about Latvia. I think it's a good start to get to know the country you are moving to. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.